let's get to the questions.
All right. Okay, first question from Narco3111. Will you guys cover injury recovery and the mentality to quick recovery? And advice how to find physical limit without injury.
Okay. So for this one, well, first of all, train hard, but always train smart. Don't do things that are going to hurt you. And this is a balance, just like everything else. You have to push yourself hard enough that you get stronger, but at the same time, you can't push yourself so hard that you get injured. So I think that's one of the keys. Another key is making sure you take adequate rest, which of course I'm usually guilty of not doing. That being said, when you see me training every day, I'm not going 110% every day. There are some days where I roll into the gym and I say, yeah, okay, this is not a day to push myself. I'm injury prone today, and so I will taper my workout, and I'll usually do some other kind of intensity, but let's say I'm not going to lift heavy weights, or I'm not going to sprint because I'm feeling tight and I don't want to pull muscle. So you got to listen to what your body's saying. Another thing that I think is important about it is, we talked about on the last podcast is, changing your goals and constantly chasing after different goals. You're going for a deadlift, and then you're going for a mile time run, and then you're going for a number of pull-ups, and you're constantly kind of changing those. And I think that is a good way to avoid injury, because you're not just hammering the same thing over and over and over again, which I think leads to injury. Now, that being said, you don't ever want to just completely stop elements of your workout. You want to keep, that's why it's good to not go in these extreme directions. And I'll tell you what I think is the most important thing for me for being relatively injury free. And I'm about to list all my injuries on the next question, but relatively injury free is that I always work out. And I think that when people take extended periods of time off, and by that I mean, you're starting to get into like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month of not doing anything. I think when people come back from those is when they get injured, is when they get hurt, because their body's it's still strong. It still thinks it can do what it did 3 weeks ago, but it can't. It's not conditioned for it. And that's when you get hurt. Another good piece, I think, for recovery and is a mobility wad. The Kelly K-Star, go to mobilitywad.com and just look at that. Look at what he's doing. Look at what he's putting out. He's got some great stuff to heal yourself and square away your injuries. I think stretching is important, but I think people take it to an excess. And I think when you do too much of it, I think it's causes problems. I know some guys that have done extreme yoga, and I think extreme yoga is, once you go beyond what is normal or a little beyond normal, you start to injure yourself, and I think that's not good. I think it leads to joint laxity, where your joints can actually move too much, and there's not enough holding them in place. So they're
like stability.
Right. And so I think just listen to your body. And I think that the next part of this question we'll answer in the next question.
Just to kind of add to that, nutrition as well. Like eating enough. So a lot of people, especially if they're trying to cut up or drop some weight, and if you're training for something, you got to make weight. That's that's going to be a little bit more specific strategy, but a lot of times people will starve themselves.
Yeah, I'm always telling people, like, when they're feeling negative or they're feeling like they're injury prone, I'm always telling people they're probably lacking fats. They're probably lacking good fats,
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Diet is extremely important.
Yeah, and when you work on this, what I learned early on, and understanding the importance of this, I think really, really helped, is if you eat right after you work out, Don't think that you're going to eat a meal and that's going to fuel your workout, because like it takes a while for the calories to go into your system to fuel a workout. It's not going to do it in like an hour. So don't eat. So go work out and then eat after, so that those calories and those nutrients will help your body recover. And within that hour, that's when your body wants to recover and wants those nutrients. You know? So doing that, if you starve yourself or don't eat or eat very little, your muscles aren't going to be recovered. Your tendons are going to be a little bit more weak. Even when you do recover, it didn't take in those nutrients. Yeah. So you will be way more prone.
I probably need to do a better job of that. People always ask me, and I get done working out, at like 5 or 6, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm done working out, and I usually don't eat until 9 or 10. So I probably need to do a better job of that. I'll have to take Echo Charles's advice on that one.
Yeah, that's it's funny.
But I have an open mind, so it's cool. I can do that.
Yeah, good. In the bodybuilding world, that's like a no-brainer. It's called the anabolic window. And it's like you can see little jokes on it where it's like,
gotta jump through that anabolic.
Oh, he missed his anabolic window, and it shows a picture of like a guy holding a guy dying or something. It's like it's a real important thing, and it helps so much.
We'll give it a shot.
Right on.